The night was heavy with humidity along the South Carolina coast. June 1st, 1863. 3 Union gunboats moved silently through enemy waters, carrying 300 soldiers into Confederate territory. This was not a normal Civil War raid. It would rewrite history. At the center of the mission stood a woman barely 5 feet tall, unable to read or write, who just 12 years earlier had been enslaved. Her name was Harriet Tubman. That night, she would help command an armed military operation, free more than 700 enslaved people, and destroy millions of dollars in Confederate resources. No woman had ever done this before. So how did she get here? Dorchester County, Maryland, the 1820s. Born Araminta Ross, called Minty, Harriet entered a world where violence was routine and survival was uncertain. By age 5, she was hired out, sleeping on cold floors, enduring beatings, and living with constant hunger. Then came 1834, when Minty refused to help restrain another enslaved person trying to escape. An overseer threw a 2-pound iron weight. It struck her head. She nearly died. From that moment on, Harriet lived with seizures, crushing headaches, and sudden sleep spells. She believed the visions that followed were messages from God, warnings that guided her movements. Whether faith or instinct, they saved her life again and again. In 1844, she married John Tubman, a free black man, but any children would be enslaved. In 1849, when Harriet planned her escape, John refused to go and threatened to report her. That same year, her enslaver died. She knew she would be sold south, where survival was measured in years. She chose freedom. Her first escape failed. Her brothers turned back. Harriet did not. Alone, she walked nearly 90 miles north, traveling by night, hiding by day, guided by the North Star and secret safe houses. When she reached Pennsylvania, freedom felt like heaven, but her family remained enslaved. Most people stayed north. Harriet went back. Between 1850 and 1860, she returned south around 13 times, leading dozens to freedom and never losing a single person. She became the most famous conductor of the Underground Railroad, known as Moses. She carried a revolver. Once a mission began, there was no turning back. Songs carried coded warnings. Disguises hid her identity. Even her seizures became cover. Slaveholders feared her. Her reward grew with every rescue. Abolitionist leaders took notice. Frederick Douglass supported her. John Brown called her General Tubman. Then came war. 1861, the Civil War. In 1862, the Union Army needed intelligence. Harriet was called to South Carolina. In the Sea Islands, thousands of enslaved people remained. They trusted no one except Harriet. She built a spy network of scouts and river pilots, mapping Confederate defenses and hidden mines. Officially, she was listed as a cook or laundress. In reality, she was running intelligence. Colonel James Montgomery saw her value. Together, they planned a daring strike along the Combahee River. June 1st, 1863. 3 gunboats launched. At dawn, enslaved families saw Union flags and ran toward freedom. Panic followed until Harriet stepped forward and began to sing. Her voice brought calm. More than 700 people were freed. Plantations burned. Bridges collapsed. Confederate supplies were destroyed. No Union casualties. It was the largest liberation operation of the Civil War. Harriet Tubman had led an armed military mission. After the war, she returned north, poor. For years of service, she received almost nothing. She petitioned Congress again and again. Recognition came slowly. Only as a widow did she receive a small pension. Harriet Tubman died in 1913, buried with military honors. For decades, her story was softened. Her power minimized, but the truth survived. Harriet Tubman proved that leadership has no gender, no race, and no permission slip. And every time her full story is told, her fight continues.